and welcome back to my channel, or welcome here if you are new. My name is Kirsty, and in today's video I am going to be sharing with you 2 different ideas of ways to use leftover barbecue pork. So last weekend my husband and I, we had a barbecue here at our house, and my husband smoked a barbecue pork loin, and so of course we have a ton of leftovers. So the first recipe I'm going to be sharing with you is a way of using that barbecue pork in a barbecue pork creamy enchiladas. For these enchiladas, of course you're going to need some pork. Ours is just here in this container. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these up into little bitty bite-sized pieces, probably even smaller than what you consider bite-sized, just so it'll fit in the tortilla better. You're going to need an onion. The recipe that I'm following calls for a jalapeno. I don't have any jalapenos, so in turn I'm just going to use a red bell pepper, and then I'm also going to use some of these diced green chilies. You're going to need some corn, some chicken broth, and so I'll just make mine out of these chicken bouillon cubes. Of course you're going to need some tortillas, some barbecue sauce. I'm using the Sweet Baby Ray's honey barbecue sauce. You're going to need some butter, flour, cheese, and sour cream. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and get my oven preheated to 350 degrees. And now we're going to chop up the vegetables. I'm going to add in my bell pepper and onion into my skillet. And then I'm also going to go ahead and add in my can of diced green chilies. And we're just going to let this cook together for a few minutes, just until these vegetables start to soften, and then we'll add in our next ingredients. But while we wait for this to soften, I'm going to go ahead and dice up the pork loin. I'm going to cut up probably about 4 of these pieces of pork loin, and like I said, I'm going to cut these up into pretty small pieces, just because I don't want maybe like big chunks when you bite into the enchilada. But of course, with this recipe, you can do the pork loin like I'm doing, like if you have leftovers like us, or you could do like pulled pork. That would be really good. Really anything would be delicious. It's been a few minutes of just letting these vegetables sit here and saute. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding in my pork. Oops. I always make a mess. Going to add in this whole can of corn right here, and I did drain it. Going to add in our barbecue sauce. And of course you can add more of this if you want. You don't have to add in as much barbecue sauce, just whatever you guys like the best. Then I'm just going to stir it all together here, and we're just going to let this sit here and simmer together on a medium heat, and just until everything's warmed through. While we have our barbecue mixture over there simmering and getting warm, in a separate pan you're going to put your heat on medium, and we're going to melt 2 tablespoons of butter. Once you let your butter melt, you're then going to take 2 tablespoons of flour, and you're just going to whisk this together for about 1 minute. Once you let this whisk together for about a minute, you're going to pour in 1.5 cups of chicken broth. And you're going to want to whisk that until it is smooth, and then you're going to want to bring it up to just a small boil. Mine has come up to a small little boil. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to add in the cheese. Sorry, I was reading my directions. Okay, so you're going to want to add in about a cup of cheese. And I probably have more than a cup here. I'm just going to save some of that and maybe put it on top after we assemble the enchiladas. So you're just going to want to whisk this until all of that has been melted and it's really smooth. After you get that smooth, after melting the cheese, you're going to want to turn your heat off. And we're going to add in 1 cup of sour cream. And then whisk that until smooth also. Now it's time to assemble our enchiladas. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my pan here and spray it down with some nonstick cooking spray. And then we're going to take a tortilla here. We're just going to pour or scoop some of this mixture into it. And I'm just going to roll it up. Just like that. And set it in there just like that. And we're going to see, I got 6 tortillas out. We'll see if I can fit that many in there. If not, then we'll just have leftovers. And I can make this another night. Or you can just make it like a little burrito. I did taste this mixture and it's really good. It would also probably be really good on like top of a salad. I think that would be really good. But I'm just going to keep doing this until the pan is full, and I'll let y'all know how many I get in there. So I was able to get 6 enchiladas in this pan. I forgot to mention that when you put these in the pan, you want them to be seam side down. So now we're going to go ahead and grab our cream sauce mixture. And you're just going to pour it all over the top. And take this extra cheese that I had and just kind of sprinkle it on top all over. And then we're going to put this in our preheated oven. It's preheated to 350 degrees, and we're going to bake it for about 30 minutes. And that is what's for dinner tonight, some barbecue enchiladas. Now y'all, I promise you, my food may not always look the prettiest, but I promise it is good. Our second recipe is going to be a barbecue nachos. So for my nachos, I have some leftover pork loin here that we smoked. So I'm gonna cut that up into little bitty, smaller than bite-sized pieces, just really small. I'm gonna slice up a little bit of this onion. I'm not going to do the whole thing just because I'm only making this for myself. It's Saturday and it's lunchtime, so I'm just going to make a small batch. I'm going to use some tortilla chips, some cheddar cheese. I'm going to use some more of this Sweet Baby Ray's honey barbecue sauce, and then once it's all out, I will probably top it with some sour cream. And I need to start by preheating my oven to 350 degrees. While I wait on the oven, I'm going to go ahead and cut these up into little bitty bite-sized pieces. You want them to be small enough so that way when you grab a chip with your nachos, you have a little bit of meat on there. See, just a little bitty piece like that. And with my onion here, I'm just going to cut really thin slices. Here in my little pan, I'm going to go ahead and take some tortilla chips and just kind of lay them throughout the bottom. Just kind of like that. Kind of gap right here. Okay, there we go. And then what I'm going to do is take some of my meat, my pork, and I'm just going to kind of drizzle it over the top of those chips. One thing I really love about nachos in particular is that you can add any kind of toppings that you want. So like to this, if you had leftover pork like I do, you could do the pork with the onions, you could do jalapenos, you could add black beans, corn, oh, all kinds of stuff. Ooh, green onions would be really good. I don't have any green onions, but that would be good. And then I'm going to take my onion and just kind of lay it around the top too. But that is the fun thing about nachos. So y'all let me know down in the comments if y'all make nachos, and if you do, what are some of your favorite toppings? After I added in my onions, I'm then going to take my barbecue sauce and I'm going to drizzle that on top too. You can add as much or as little as you please. And then lastly, I'm going to top it with some cheese. And now I'm just using cheddar cheese because that's what we have here at the house. Another cheese that I think would be good would be kind of like a spicy cheese, like maybe like a pepper jack or something. That would be really good. Some of the Mexican shredded cheese would be good. But really just whatever you have on hand, it'll work just fine. The oven has preheated, so we're going to go ahead and put this in the oven. Like I said, it's at 350 degrees, and we're going to bake this for about 12 to 15 minutes. You just want to wait until all that cheese is melted. And that is how I make my barbecue pork nachos. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me in the kitchen today. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. I would love for you to join my YouTube family. And leave me a comment down below on different leftover ideas that you and your family love. Bye!